Hello, we're going to crochet a spring and summer toddler vest. I was really greatly inspired to make this vest, hopefully for the upcoming summer months, that it can be a security type of jacket or vest. And where this vest is crocheted in specific colors that a family of young children would wear so that the parents can identify their children or have some type of applique put on the vest that parents can identify so that they can kind of keep up with their children, whether they're at the beach, water parks, whatever activity that you're doing. I would recommend that you would not put any names on there. 'Cause sometimes that can, may not be a good thing. So, like any type of, if children like the Paw Patrol or whatever, and whenever something is made, it cannot be made with the item like Paw Patrol and then sold, because that's considered copyrighted. But if you had a vest made and you bought the applique and iron it on or sew it on, then that's fine. That's no problem with doing that. But hopefully that this would be a useful tool for this upcoming summer for 2022. Now, I have this pattern. It's put in a PDF form. Um, I'll have it available on down below on my YouTube, and I will also have it available on my business Facebook page, which is T&P Handmade Collections. So let's get started. When I first did the vest, I used Soft Secret yarn, bright blue, from Hobby Lobby. Turn this around so you can kind of see. So with this second vest, we're going to use a cotton yarn. I'm not in focus, I'm sorry. But this is from the first vest, and you will see a picture of the vest, and I made a cute little hat to go with it. But for this tutorial, we're going to try this in a summer yarn, which is a cotton yarn, and this is from Hobby Lobby as well. I love this yarn. This, there's no promotion or anything for it. I'm not getting paid to even tell anybody about this particular yarn, but I was pleasantly surprised with crocheting with it. It's very soft. It works really, really nice. So if you care to use an acrylic yarn, you might want to use like a DK, nothing too thick. We're going to do a mesh stitch so that it's very airy if you should use acrylic yarn. And regardless, even with this, it's going to be crocheted into a mesh stitch. But this is how many yards and the best type of crochet sized hook that you should use with this particular yarn. But it feels so good to the when you're crocheting, it crochets very well. As usual, these are some of the tools that you will need when making this vest. I have chosen to use two sides of crochet hooks. One is a 5.2 millimeter crochet hook, and the second one, I don't know if you can even see this, but this one is a 6 millimeter crochet hook. And the reason why I'm doing this is because in crocheting this mesh stitch, I noticed that it had a tendency to kind of shrink in. However, it's very stretchy though, but it just didn't look like it was keeping the shape. It kind of went in like a V. So in order to keep it where it's loose fitting, top and bottom, as you handle the yarn, I went with a larger, just a slightly larger crochet hook at a certain point in the pattern to keep it where the mesh stitch stayed nice and loose from top to bottom. And the last and final thing you need, like a darning, make sure this is in focus as well, move my pattern over, a darning needle, because we have to weave in the loose ends. You may have to attach, if you decide you want to do this in different colors, you may have to weave in, and then at the end, when your pattern is done, you're going to have loose ends, so you need your darning needle. Oh, also, scissors and markers. This is important. These are very important. For some people, you might really need this. I'm going to do this pattern different than just crocheting squares and then sewing them together. We're going to kind of do this where it's crocheting the top half of something and then crocheting the lower part of it from what is called the bodice of the item. I'm going to show you the pattern. At the top, I have the legend where it shows with the symbols and what they mean as written in this particular pattern. And down here, which I will have on the screen, the sequence of crocheting this and it making a jacket or a vest, whichever one you want to call this. It will look like this, and we're going to fold this in half. After we reach a certain point, we will fold the front part of the bodice over, and then you'll have the front and the back, and then on the side you will have the armholes on the side. And then at the end, this is what we should come up with, this vest right here. And I made a little bucket hat to go with it, but this is what the vest will look like in the end. That's our goal. That's what we're aiming for. So I'm going to do this video a little bit shorter than how I usually do this. So if you know how to crochet, this is a good video for you. If you are a beginner crocheter, never did anything, please look at my previous videos from 1 to 7 or 8, where it goes through the basics, learn the basic stitches. I am going to be using single crochet and double crochet, which is still the basic stitches. Now we're going to start with chaining 69. This 69 is going to form really like a box. You're going to have 9 stitches here. These are the corners. That's why it's 1 stitch. Then you're going to have 13 chains or 13 stitches, then 1 stitch, and then 20. That's what gives you the total of 68. Now when I say let's chain 69, you will not be using 69 at all. If you use 69, then it won't give you the right count. And hopefully with doing this one, it's really in even numbers. So let's see how this works out with the cotton fabric, or my cotton yarn. Okay, let's pull out the 5.5 crochet hook and let's chain the 69. And I'm gonna pause this right here, do your 69, and I will see you in a moment. we have our 69 chains. Now, this is going to be formed into sort of like a box. It sort of looks like this. And that's how we're going to be crocheting. This will be, this part right here will be the opening right here. Then it's the side where you'll eventually turn into the armhole. So this is the front, the arm, and the back right here. So we have to start with, we're going to mark off 9 chains, and you're going to mark off 9 chains, and in the 10th chain you're going to put a marker, because that's going to mark your corner. So again, we're not going to use this first one because that's really, you know, how you chain one and go into the first stitch and make, and the beginning of this will be a single crochet. So we don't count the 69, you go into the 68. So again, count from the second one and go in and go into the 10th chain, and you're going to put a marker. Then after that, you're going to count in the next chain 13. So we're going to do that in one moment. So pause right now. Make sure you have the correct number of chains. Right now we have 69. And so we're going to show you how to mark off your pattern. All right, we're back, and we have the chain marked off with markers. Now on this side right here, you should be 10 chains. Because it's 9 here, we don't count that first one, so it'll really be 10. But you know, we're going to start the beginning of the single crochet with that one that we're skipping. Then we're going into the 10th chain right here, and then going up, we're going in, counting up 13. So we're going to mark in the 14th chain, because that's the corner, that's the one. Okay, then we're going to go across here, which is 20, and then we're going to go into the 21st chain from here, starting here, count over 21, because this is the corner right there. You're going to put a marker there. Then you're going to go from there and count down and have 13. And remember, we have to have a count for that corner. So that would be 13, and then it would be 14. So you put the marker from here down into the 14th chain, marking that corner, and then you should have about 9 chain stitches right here. And when I did it, it worked out. So hopefully, if you don't have it, pause your video and count slow, take your time, and sometimes you might have to adjust, you know, adding or subtracting some chains depending on how it came out for you. Now we're going to move on, and the first row, it says row 1, no, row 2, I'm sorry. We're going to make 1 single crochet. We're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. When we get to the corner, we're going to do a repeat of 1 single crochet, 2 chains, 1 single crochet. And I always use a single crochet with some loose crochet stitch patterns just to give it a foundation. You don't have to do this. You could just use a chain, but I just like how it gives it a little bit more structure when you use a single crochet stitch. So we're going to begin. And everyone should know how to do a single crochet. I'm going to take you to the first corner, and then we're going to move on from there, because every time when you get to a corner you will have to repeat that one single crochet, chain two, one single crochet. Okay, we're going to skip that first chain and go into the second one. I usually like to crochet in the back. You don't have to. It just gives it a better appearance. Three. Make sure that I'm counting. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I might have to get some more yarn because this is pulling. 7, I do believe. See how many I got. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're in the right spot. Now we're at the corner. This is the first corner. You got to remember we have 4 corners. So in this stitch, take out the marker. In the back hump, we're going to do 1 single crochet, chain 2, go back in, and we're going to make the second single crochet. And it's starting to form a corner. Then you're going to go into the next stitch, next chain in the hump, and we're going to do the next 13. Just going to do a few, and then we're going to pause, and we're going to give you time to go all the way around. But I just kind of want you to see how it forms this shape for you. That sort of looks like a box, but it's really the front, the side, and the back. You see? So this would be like this. This is the front, right side or left side, and then you're going to go up, and then it's going to make the arm part, and you're going to go and as it formed that corner at the top, and then it's taking you to the back, which is 20. So keep following the pattern where you are doing 1 single crochet. Either you can go into the top stitch up here, or you can do like I'm doing, going in this back hump in the back, and then when you get to the corner you're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 chains, 1 single crochet right where you see where that mark is in that hump in the back of the stitch. Then you're going to do 1 single crochet in each of the chain stitches right here. Either you can go through the back hump like me, make sure you can see it, or you can just do across the top, one of the stitches at the top, doesn't matter. Do the 20, just 1 single crochet in each, just 1. When you get to this uh, uh, third corner, you're going to do again 1 single crochet, 2 chains, 1 single crochet. Then you're going to do 13 going down here to this marker, and then in the 14th one, you're going, which is marking the corner, you're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 chains, 1 single crochet back in the same stitch, so it'll form this corner like this. And then in the last 9, it will form a corner, and it'll look like the other one, just 1 single crochet in each of these chain stitches to the end, just one single crochet, and it will form a nice shape for you, front and back of your vest that you're going to be making. When I first learned how to do this, it seemed a little bit different because I was so used to just crocheting panels and then crocheting them together. After a while, now I can't go back to crocheting panels. It doesn't work for me, because this gives you a whole sweater or a whole vest, or you can even use it for dresses. So I just absolutely fell in love with how to do this particular method of crocheting a lot of different things. So go and get started, practice it. If it didn't come out right for you, go ahead, and then I will see you back. I'll see you for row 3. This is how row 2 should look when you completed crocheting 1 single crochet in each stitch, and then in the corners you crocheted 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and again 1 single crochet in each stitch. So now you have the beginnings of making a vest or a sweater or a dress. Whatever you're making, you just have to follow the pattern number for the size that you're making. And this is going to be for a 5T, a 5 toddler. So that means a child that's about 4 or 3, depending on their size, can even wear this. So this is really made in the size for a 5T toddler child. Now, let's do row 3 through 7, because those are repeat. So I'm just going to do row 3 because the stitch is going to change from single crochet to double crochet. So the next time single crochet will be used if you desire to edge your vest. It's your option. With the other yarn that I use, I wind up having to do the edge. It's just me. I like to have structure. Whereas with this cotton yarn, you may not even have to do it. The other one was so stretchy, and it was easily stretched out of shape. Whereas this cotton yarn, that's why I wanted to try it in this tutorial to see. You may not have to do any edging. It's up to you. I do it because it gives a professional finish as well. So let's begin. row 3, and at the end of row 2 you're going to chain 1. Normally with a double crochet stitch we usually chain 2. In this particular pattern we're not going to do that because it gives nice structure, and we're not going to chain 2. We're just going to chain 1 and turn where your first stitch. Let me get back in focus. Okay, chain 1, and then we're going to turn. And so we are going to begin our third row. The first row was the chains to begin. The second row was single crochet. Right here is where we're going to begin, right in here. Don't go nowhere else. Don't go up in here. In here. Some people have a tendency to not pay attention, and they think they're supposed to work in this, and that'll give you more stitches than you're supposed to have. And it's always a good thing to count to make sure you have the right numbers. So periodically, some patterns require that you count so that it will come out the way it's supposed to. And everybody knows how to do a double crochet. I'm going to do this double crochet. You know how to do. For row number 3, we're going to do 1 double crochet. We're going to begin the mesh pattern. And we did a double crochet in the first stitch. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 1. We're going to go into the stitch next to it and make a double crochet. This is the mesh stitch pattern for this vest. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 1 stitch right here. We're going to skip this one and we're going into this one. Chain 1 at the top, chain 1, and then we're going to skip the next stitch right here. So we're going into this one right here, and we're going to double crochet, chain 1 at the bottom, skip 1, go into the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1. So right here we can skip this one and just move to the 2 chains. That's how it's supposed to work out. In the 2 chains right here from the previous row, that was 1 single crochet, 2 chains, 1 single crochet. We're now going to change out and do 2 double crochet, 2 chains, go back in to that space, double crochet, and put 1 more double crochet. You should have 4 double crochet stitches in this corner. So it should look like this. It should be 2 double crochet, 2 chains, 2 double crochet, and we're going to skip a stitch. So let's chain 1 after we did that second one right here. Chain 1, and you're going to skip this stitch right next to it, go into the next stitch and make 1 double crochet to continue to make, make sure I'm in focus, this mesh pattern. So we're going to skip this one right here and go into that one. Chain 1. See, this is the front part. Of the vest. So just so that's the beginning. And we did a corner. I want you to repeat this pattern all the way around. Don't forget, in the corners, it changes out. It's 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And remember, before you get to the corner, skip 1 because you're chaining. You always skip, and even after, you're going to chain 1, skip 1 like we did. So just pause, go back to that corner that I just did and repeat the sequence for each corner and for doing the mesh stitch going along the panel, going up the side, going up the back, coming back down the side, and back again around here until you're done. I'll see you back at the 8th row. You're going to do this for rows 3 to 7. Rows 3 to 7, you're going to repeat this process. See you in a moment. All right, we have gotten to the halfway point. With this cotton yarn, I had to do 8 rows in order for the arm sleeve to measure to be 5.5 inches. And you need that 5.5 inch armhole for a 5 toddler. So that's about right there. So that's about 5.5 inches, right about there. I just want to go over some basics with this part. If you noticed, this stitch pattern that this is made from is called the mesh stitch. Just reviewing. Each double crochet stitch is crocheted on top of the other crochet stitch as we go around this pattern. It is a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. So you should be always crocheting in the double crochet stitch above. So there's always a double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, one right above the other, so that it has this lacy look. The other thing that I want to review is about the corners. And this is my second time making this pattern that I wrote up. When you get to the corner, you're going to still be crocheting a double crochet right above, and you're going to chain 1. So that would put you right here. Then you would chain 1 from this 1 double crochet, this one double crochet stitch, chain 1, and it will always usually put you in this, in the corner where it's the 2 double crochet. You will be double crocheting in that first stitch, and you will chain one and then crochet in this 2 chain space right here is where you put the double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and then here you're going to, and then you'll chain one, and then you're going to skip one, which means you will be crocheting again right here in this stitch here and chaining one, which will put you right back into the next double crochet, chain one, skip one, and the pattern continues. So just remember, when you get to the corners, this is really very important. Sometimes it might put you right here, but just continue to do, chain one and then do the double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and chain 1. It's not that rigid, but it'll usually put you back into this pattern. And that's what the pattern is supposed to be, where you are crocheting in this first stitch right here. You crochet 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then go into this chain 2 to do the corner pattern. And after you do the corner pattern, chain 1, and then you'll be right here from this corner pattern below at this double crochet stitch, and you'll double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and it'll put you right back here. And it's worked out for each and every corner, so you shouldn't have any problems. It usually works out. Now we're going to rows 9, and at this point in the pattern it'll say row 8. Doesn't matter, row 8, 9, 10, wherever you want this to be, but because this is a 5T, we had to make sure that we went according to the pattern and had 5.5 inch armhole. We needed 5.5 inches long armhole on the side. Now we're going to close up the front and the back, because what we did was we folded this in half, and now you have the front and the back. Isn't that neat? I love that. Front and back. We'll start here. We are going to chain 1, we're going to turn, and when we get to this corner here, we're only going to do 1 double crochet, and you're going to have these together, and you're going to do 1 double crochet and then continue on around, and I'm going to show you that. Okay, we're going to make sure we do the chain 1 and turn. And always make sure that you're crocheting in that first stitch right here, this double crochet stitch right here. So 1 double crochet, chain 1. I think I got my yarn all twisted here, I do believe. Yes, I do. It'll make it easier to work a little better if you have it a little bit more organized, so you can see where you're going. All right. And gather up enough yarn to kind of work. So we'll continue the pattern of 1 double crochet right in the top of that double crochet in the row below. Chain 1. We're going to skip this right here. We're not crocheting in the space. And again, on top of that next double crochet. And we're going to do this until we get to the corner. Sometimes when these double crochet stitches can be a little loose because I'm using a larger crochet hook than what the yarn is calling for, and that's to give it a lacy appearance or a airy appearance. So you don't want this super tight. You're not doing a real tight crochet stitch. You're not making this where the stitches is the stitches are very tight. You're not doing that. If you find that it's really loose, the stitch is really loose, and when you do this it looks like it's pulling, you can always go in here and make the double crochet stitch. So it's just a little bit below the 2 bars at the top. Look like it's about 3 of them, but it can give you this appearance as opposed to just doing the 2 bars at the top. So it's like going up underneath these 1 and 2, the yarn right here, yarn bar right there, and go in with your crochet hook and crochet, make your double crochet. I'll do the next one where I just do the regular double crochet stitch, and you can decide how the appearance of how you like this, so this it's not a big to do. This is where I just did the top. This is where I went through the 2 bars right here. Now with the other yarn, it was more loose, and so I had to do that because it just looked like it was just pulling. So it gave it a better appearance than with this cotton yarn. This cotton yarn seemed like it's a little bit more structured, and it doesn't stretch and give as much as the other yarn I used. I love how it looked, but it was really a very stretchy yarn. So you see right here, we're back to this first stitch of the corner, and we're going to put 1 double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and instead of doing the corner where we did the pattern, we're just going to put these 2 together. And this is really important. Put these 2, the chain 2 in the front and the chain 2 in the back together, and just go in through both of them and just do 1 single crochet, chain 1. And now you've attached the front to the back on this side, and you have to do the same thing as you crochet the back and get to the other end of the other 2 corners. I'm just going to take it to this point here. We did the crochet, 1 double crochet in the corner, we chain 1, and then we're just going to go right back where we crocheted in the corner before, right here in this stitch right here, the second one. We're going to do a double crochet, 1 double crochet, and we're going to chain 1 and continue the pattern to the next corner so that you'll have the second sleeve. And when you get through, you will have the front and back to your vest. And you're going to, after that, only crochet from here on around in the bottom. That's it. And you will do the mesh pattern just like it said. Start in the first stitch. You always chain one, turn. In the first stitch, one double crochet, chain one, skip one. And you do that all back and forth, all the way around, with this corner closed, all the way around, back and forth, until you make this as long as you would like for this to be. And that's basically the pattern, because it crochets the whole thing, making the sides and everything, and you don't have to do separate panels, you know, front and back and side and top. You have the whole vest itself. And like I said, this is the beginning pattern for a lot of things. All right, this is the front and the back connected. It opens up. You can close it. At this point, we're going to use on the next row, as we crochet to the length of your vest, we're going to use the 6mm crochet hook, and this will help it to keep its keep it from it has a tendency, when I was doing this mesh stitch, is to it'll kind of go in, and it seemed like it kind of shrunk on me. So I said, well, maybe it'll be better to just use a slightly larger crochet hook to make this bottom part. With the other yarn, it worked really well. So again, here, use this 6mm crochet hook and continue to crochet your vest the length that you would like to crochet this vest. So I thank you so much for being patient and visiting and looking, and hopefully this is a blessing to you and your family. Again, we encourage you to use these vests as a possible security mechanism by putting some kind of patch or some kind of identifying item on here, so that when you and the children, or your son, your grandson, whoever it may be, because we are going to do a little girl's vest, but this is dedicated to the little boys, put some kind of identifying item on here, so that it's a family thing, a group thing, or just identifying your baby for security reasons, and that way you can say, hey, he has on this particular vest with this kind of thing, or you will see them and you will know, and you can keep up with everybody. But again, it's the beginning of the hot season, and we want everybody to be safe out there. So we'll see you for the next crochet series. And again, this is Pam Brown from T&P Handmade Collection. And you will find us on Facebook, you will find us on Instagram, and you will find us on TikTok. And we definitely have a website. We will be adding this pattern. It's PDF and it's free, and you will be finding the pattern if you're interested. It will be on my Facebook, on T&P Handmade Collection Facebook page. So that's it for today. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.